Well, hey, it's Brad from churchmediadrop.com, and I'm going to walk you through the April drop so that you can customize this with your own images, because the April drop was designed for you to use your own images. Now, we've included some that you can utilize right away, but I'm going to show you how you can update these inside of ProPresenter if you are a Drop Plus member, and you can also update those in Canva, or for everyone, you get the Photoshop file so you can update your images inside of there. So let's dive in and take a look at our first image, just get an overall look for the theme. So we have kind of this vintage vibe with this bright yellow text. So we have an Easter design, we got upcoming events, we have giving options, Good Friday, kids, Maundy, Thursday, New Year, Palm Sunday. So we have the whole Holy Week covered, as well as prayer and a welcome slide. So now let's dive into ProPresenter and see how we can update these, add our own text in, and design them with our own images without ever having to go inside of Photoshop. But again, if you want to, you can go inside Photoshop to adjust these, add your own textures, and really give it that vintage vibe. Now, the first thing I always point out is the style guide that lists out all of the fonts that are used. It's really important that these are installed before you open any presentation files, and you can also find a style guide PDF included in the drop folder. And yes, Night Serif is spelled correctly, and that's a free font that you can download. So now let's dive in and edit these slides to update them. So let's check this one out. I'm going to right click on it and say edit slide, and let's put our church name in here. So let's say maybe we're a part of First Church. And so we can say, welcome to First Church. If you need to make your ellipse a little bigger, you can just stretch this out or make it a little bit smaller. So that's all embedded in there. So that text is inside of that ellipse. The other thing I want to point out is the text here in the bottom and top corners. This text box is linked to this text box. So if we wanted to remove the exclamation point and type in here, you'll notice it updated it up here as well. So it makes it really easy for editing that you don't have to copy and paste. It's just all linked together and works. And that's how all of these slides work. So any of these that have text in the corners, they're all linked up together. So now let's add in a new blank slide and apply a theme, and we're going to create our own. So I'm going to say add new blank slide, and now we can right click on this slide. We can go down to themes, and we can go to our April 2025 and choose main title. Now you'll notice there's no text in here. That's why I pre-design these slides and make it easy for you just to copy and paste and update them. Because when you apply a theme, if there's no text on the slide, it doesn't actually add any text. So we have to go in here and say, right click, edit slide, and we're going to go in here and we're going to create a worship night slide here. And so let's start by adjusting this text so it's not all the same font. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust this so it's, instead of medium, let's just go to regular, and then let's start adjusting some of these characters. So I'm going to say the O and R, let's actually make those italics, and maybe the I we're going to make italics as well. And then for night, we'll go in here and we'll adjust this to be regular as well, and we can say that maybe let's go with the G and H, and we'll make those in italics as well. And then let's just enter this down to the previous line. The one thing that you might want to do is just mess around with some character spacing in here. Some of it's a little tight, and then this is like extra wide. If we wanted to take that in, we would select that character, go to our gear, and then we're going to go to character spacing, and we're going to increase that until we get it tightened up as much as we can. And so -40 is as much as we can do, but it looks pretty good. Then I'm going to grab our ellipse here. So I'm going to go to that title ellipse. I'm going to just move that down here, and then we'll double click inside, and we'll say 7 p.m. at the hub, which is what we call our building, because a church isn't a building or a program, it is the people. And so we call our building something different than a church. We call it the hub. And then finally, we can add in some text down here. So we can say, maybe prayer and worship event. And now that's updated again in both corners. Now we need to add in our image. So let's go back to show. I'm just going to move the interface over, and I've downloaded a few different images from Unsplash, which is a free image site. But if you have images of your own from a previous worship night, you can drop those in, and I'm going to show you how to make pretty much any image work. So we're going to take this image, drop it in. I've previously done this, so I'm just going to say right over. And then now we're going to right click on this and we're going to go down to inspector, because you'll notice that our image isn't taking up the full area. So I'm going to go to my settings and I'm going to change my scale from fit to fill. So now it's filling all of that, and then finally we can go over here and we're going to apply a effect to this so that the text is easier to read, and we're going to apply this 2-color effect. I'm going to set the dark color to black and the bright color to like a dark gray. And so now this looks really nice, and we have our slide and it's ready to go. We can also save this as a preset, so we can click on this and we can say save as, and we could say like dark gray, and then we can apply this to any other image. So that's a pretty cool option that you have as well. Now let's just take a look at everything else that's included, just so you can see the other options we have. So we have a few different ones in here. You can see this worship night one that I designed the same way I designed this one down here. And then we can see we have like kids, where we have birth to 5th grade. We got our different Maundy, Thursday, Good Friday, Palm Sunday, Easter Sunday graphics. We have title and text support graphics that you can utilize in here. And one thing I wanted to point out about our next step one is that you can link more than just these outside text boxes. We can have everything be linked. So if I go to this slide, I've updated this to be linked to the title. So if I go into this title and I remove the S, it's now going to remove next steps from everywhere. I also include lower third templates that you can use and pre-built lower thirds, and we have some titles included in this one. So you can see we have our insert name here, and the cool thing about these is when we right click on these and go to edit them, you'll see that this yellow line, it stays the size of whatever you're typing. So the more you type, the longer that line gets, and that's being done with this lines only option. And this is a different way to do an underline, but it's a little bit more dynamic and gives you some cool options where you can align this wherever you want, top or bottom. So I also utilized this option when I was doing our text here. So this lines only is the size of this text box. So you'll see it's whatever the size of that text box is. So if you want that line to be, a little bit smaller, we can do that, or we can change it to max line width. And now it will just be the width of whatever our reference is. So this is a cool way to do underlines that you can actually put above your line, or you can put below them. So just another cool option that you can use when designing slides inside ProPresenter. I hope you enjoy the April pack, and I hope you can customize them with your own images to make it look just the way you want it for your unique church and situation. Enjoy the April drop.